All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Thank you for taking time out of your day to check the video out. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover here today. So do me a favor before diving into these topics. If you end up enjoying the video or finding it informative, be sure to leave it a like. And if you are new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button as well. We're starting here with another update regarding the PS5 Pro. This is being reported by WCCF Tech. Sony is looking to have between 40 and 50 PlayStation 5 Pro enhanced titles at launch, according to SIE Global Product Planning Department Senior Principal Product Manager Toshimasa Aoki. Speaking with Japanese outlet 4Gamer during this year's edition of the Tokyo Game Show, Aoki-san talked about the upcoming mid-generation refresh system, confirming that SIE's current plan is to have about 40 to 50 PS5 Pro enhanced titles at launch, including both first-party and third-party titles. The high number of launch-supported titles, Aoki-san added, indicates the great opinion developers have for the PlayStation 5 Pro and its capacity to deliver great visuals at 60 frames per second. In the interview, Aoki also reiterated that even games that aren't going to be PlayStation 5 Pro enhanced will still see improvements on the console if they feature variable frame rates and dynamic resolutions thanks to Game Boost mode. Games with locked frame rates, however, will not see any performance improvements unless the developer unlocks the frame rate. PS4 games with variable frame rates will also see improvements, and the image quality boost function will provide simple upscaling without PSSR. PSVR2 games will also benefit from the console's increased specs over the base model, offering a more stable performance, which is crucial for any VR game. In addition, Sony is thinking about using the PSSR upscaler to further enhance the experience in VR games. As for which games running on the PlayStation 5 Pro Aoki has been impressed with the most, he mentioned Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is setting out to be the game that will showcase the console's capabilities the best at launch. Aoki-san also mentioned Marvel's Spider-Man 2 as an impressive showcase of what the console can do, appreciating being able to see the game's visuals at 4K resolution while retaining the smoothness of the base console's performance mode. So I just wanted to let you guys know that we're looking at about 40 to 50, and I've seen other lists come out that even seem to indicate there's going to be about 60 games that are going to be PS5 Pro enhanced at the launch of this mid-gen refresh console. But once again, for those who may have missed it, this console will automatically enhance any PS5 game that has a variable frame rate or variable resolution, and that also includes PS4 games and VR games as well. So yeah, good news all around, I would say, for the PS5 Pro. Moving on to the next topic, this is being reported by Push Square. The title of the topic reads, Microsoft is investigating why developers are prioritizing PS5 over Xbox. A blog post on Microsoft's game developer website has highlighted the firm's intention to learn why Xbox is being skipped over in favor of other platforms. It's no big secret that certain developers have faced struggles with the Xbox ecosystem in recent times. The biggest example is Baldur's Gate 3, which was delayed on Xbox because of the Series S console's inability to completely run the game in split-screen mode. There have been problems in other areas too. The studio behind Anatri: The Last Song made public its struggles to communicate with Xbox, leading to a lengthy delay. Similarly, the maker of 2D Metroidvania Hack are bringing the game to PS5 but skipping Microsoft's platform entirely. This new push for Microsoft to improve its relationship with developers is perhaps a result of mishaps such as these. It's all about giving game developers what they need to feel empowered and supported by Xbox, reads the blog post. Xbox's principal user researcher, Dr. Deborah Henderson, says she wants to hear from everyone who works on games or helps support game studios, because if we can make your life easier, it makes gaming better. Most interestingly, the scope of the research extends to those not making their games for Xbox. Quote, if you aren't on Xbox, we'd love to know why. And honestly, if you are using our competitors' products, you probably have a great perspective we can learn from, end quote. So this is a report that's been making the rounds, understandably so. And, you know, it's definitely something that is becoming more common with the Xbox ecosystem, where certain games, for one reason or another, are just either skipping the platform or just getting there later, or just, eventually not being released on the console at all as more time goes on, even though some of these games maybe players are kind of waiting for. And I think when we look at this holistically, the answer is really not that difficult, I think. I mean, it's good that Xbox is investigating and that they're trying to talk directly to developers and learn. That's obviously something they should be doing. But when you look at the way Xbox has kind of handled their platform, I mean, you look at something like Game Pass. Game Pass literally encourages people not to buy games and instead just subscribe to Microsoft service, where Microsoft benefits the most from something like Game Pass at the end of the day. I'm not saying developers can't benefit from it, but it's just clearly not the same as, developers getting full-blown sales, full price sales of their games on the platform. So I think that Microsoft automatically has something like that working against them, where when you look at Sony's platform, yes, PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium do exist, but they are not seemingly getting in the way of people, choosing to buy their games at full price on the platform. And it doesn't seem to be, it's just not on the same level, I guess we could say, as what Microsoft is doing with Game Pass. There's an extremely aggressive push with something like Game Pass that, let's face it, has conditioned a lot of players to just be like, well, maybe I just won't buy my games anymore. I'll just wait to see if it comes to Game Pass. And if the game never comes to Game Pass, then that's just a potential lost sale. I think there's that. I think there is also the Series S, as the article mentions here. I mean, one of the games that wasn't brought up was Black Myth Wukong, which apparently sold over 20 million units already, which is crazy. And, there were rumors that there was some kind of deal in place, but in reality, the developer straight up said that, they're still trying to optimize the game and they don't know when it's going to be ready. And so I think when you look at that, and then maybe thirdly, we can kind of throw in the fact that Microsoft is starting to publish some of their own games on the competing platform, basically saying yeah, we need those sales too. They're important to us too. I just think that you put all these things together, it should be fairly obvious why, some developers and some studios are just either skipping Xbox or just not really prioritizing it. And it'll be interesting to see if Microsoft ends up making any changes based off of the feedback they get. But yeah, this was definitely something that was interesting to read. We will see what ends up happening here, but I assume that Sony's not going to be changing their plans anytime soon, or the way that they do things. And, it's clearly worked out in their favor. But moving on to the final topics here, we are talking about Metal Gear Solid Delta. We have a couple of new pieces of information. The first is being reported by VGC, where it says Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater's difficulty will change based on whether players use the game's new third-person visual perspective or the original fixed perspective. In an interview with Famitsu, translated by VGC, creative producer Yuji Kurikato said, "We had originally planned to make it possible to switch between the two viewpoints at any time during gameplay, but we decided against it. When asked why this was the case, he replied, the difficulty level changes drastically depending on the viewpoint. The new style has a wider, more linear field of view, and you can shoot your gun while moving. So the difficulty level was lower than we had expected. However, if we adjusted it to match the new style, the legacy style would become too difficult. So we decided to split the playstyle in two. The legacy style is close to the difficulty level of the original version, and we are adjusting the new style from scratch." So this is something that I thought was very interesting, because there was seemingly some fear from fans that, well, if you choose to play it in the new perspective, is it going to make the game essentially easy mode, right? Is it going to be just way too easy to just make your way through the game and there's going to be pretty much no challenge? So the fact that this is something that they're addressing and making it clear that, no, we actually built, a completely new difficulty to match the new perspective. But if you do want to play in the legacy mode, the difficulty is basically going to be the same. This is actually really good news, because I was a little bit concerned about this myself, where it's I definitely want to play in the new perspective. I think it looks amazing, but I was a little bit worried, man, is it just going to make the game feel ridiculously easy to and just a breeze to get through. So good stuff here. It seems like this team really is taking everything into consideration when it comes to the remake. But continuing to talk about Metal Gear Solid Delta, I also want to talk a little bit about the release date. This is being reported by PlayStation Lifestyle. It says producer Noriaki Akamura and creative producer Yuji Kurikado were asked in a recent Famitsu interview when they thought Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater would release. While the two were silent, Akamura did remark that the game is playable from beginning to end. It seems Konami is putting in the finishing touches to ensure fans won't be disappointed. That's a pretty difficult question, but the game is actually already playable to the end, and we don't expect it to take many years to complete. However, the most important thing in the development of this game is not to disappoint fans. We want to finish it properly and announce it once it is in a state where it can be firmly confirmed. Game development doesn't proceed at a constant pace, so it's difficult to express, but we can see the goal, and we're just adding the parts that are still missing. So I wanted to let you guys know about this because this is a game that, by the way, we talked earlier about the PS5 Pro. This is a game that is going to be PS5 Pro enhanced, but it sounds like the game is going to be on track for 2025. I think maybe the question is whether or not it's going to be like early 2025, mid 2025, or late 2025, but they're saying the game is playable from start to finish. He's making it known it's not like you're going to have to wait years or anything like that. They can see the finish line, and it really sounds like they're kind of in the final stages of polishing and just making sure everything is as locked in as it can be. So I do appreciate that they're only going to announce the date when they are 100% sure that they can hit it, because obviously, nobody wants to see a game announced for a specific date and then end up getting delayed. But I will keep you guys updated and let you know when we finally get that release date for MGS Delta Snake Eater. But guys, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. If you did, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share the video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.